The drama has abundant background characters, intertwined stories, and rich world building that surround the main romance story, with its gripping chemistry between the leads which will surely keep your attention high throughout watching the drama. Hey, what's up? It's Justin from Chinese Dramaland and welcome back to another video on the channel. This is my first impression review of the currently airing historical wuxia drama Who Rules the World, starring Yang Yang and Zhao Lusi. Based on the first 12 episodes I've watched, I'll give this drama a strong 4.5-star rating. Who Rules the World is a 40-episode drama produced by Tencent Penguin Pictures and Chi-Chi Pictures. The drama started broadcasting on April 8th and it's available on the WeTV app with all sorts of subtitles, with 2 new episodes being released on Monday through Wednesday. This is the first time Yang Yang and Zhao Lusi have worked together, but unfortunately both the actors' voices are overdubbed, which some viewers might dislike. The drama is adapted from the novel of the same name, with some notable differences in plot. Who Rules the World tells a legendary decade-long romance between He Fengxi and Bai Fengxi and the adventures they embark on together. The drama starts off with a lot of action right from episode 1. We see different groups of people fighting against each other for the same interest: the Empyrean Token, an object that will allow the bearer to control the entirety of the world. Our leads are known amongst the people much before the plot starts, as they have each built their own reputation in the martial arts world. One more upfront than the other, which also becomes a point of contention from the female lead to the male lead, with each bickering meeting that they have. As per the standard wuxia way, we have both the imperial family and the cultivation sects, as well as different agents of power, without which the story would feel a bit too drab to follow otherwise. The main antagonist in the story is the feared Soul Taker sect that is secretly amassing a great force against the imperial family. Despite a lot of things going on in the first few episodes, by episode 8, we have a lot more romantic scenes from the leads, which set a different tone to the drama from then on, but still keeps to its initial world building of martial arts. Bai Fengxi, played by Zhao Lusi, is entertaining to the boot. If there is trouble, she will follow it, and if there is not, she will create it. This has to be prefaced, however, by the notion that she doesn't seek the problems out herself, but does get involved in them due to her just principles and righteous personality. She is a frank individual that doesn't bow down under pressure or responsibility, whether it's taking the mantle of acting head of her sect or sheltering the young child she saved, though she is shown to prefer staying out of reach of both things in many scenes. This foreshadows that there is more to her than what we've found out so far. Besides those traits, we can also attribute her as a big glutton who will not hesitate at forcing Feng Langxi to pay for her food many times, which he is seemingly annoyed but content with. Initially, her relationship with Feng Langxi is strained, as she doesn't like his character at all. He Fengxi, played by Yang Yang, is a people user and he doesn't hide it in front of her, unlike what he portrays to the rest of the world. He is cunning, ruthless and calculative, which makes sense due to him using a double identity, because he is actually the second prince of the Yong continent, where the whole plot is happening. This conflict in their differing natures, hers in sacrificing herself to others without consideration of her own life, and his in using others to gain things, is where her dislikes stem from. The relationship between them undergoes many changes through every encounter they have, with obvious romantic undercurrents which bear to fruition as early as episode 8. Feng Langshi is shown to be jealous even before he is aware of his feelings, while Feng Shiyun takes a while to get there due to her initial dislike of him. Of all the notable characters, perhaps the one I should mention is the Emperor himself, played by Zhang Fengyi, as he is quite the mercurial character who doesn't appear to be under anyone's control in the story. He has a distant relationship with his whole family, as he doesn't trust his wife or his sons due to the burden of his power. Towards Feng Langshi, he shows distaste due to him being a purebred prince, born from an empress, whereas the emperor himself was born from a maid. So instead of that being a positive thing in many other stories like these, this is a particular case where it has become a stumbling block for Feng Langshi's path to being the emperor, and also a beloved son to his father. On top of that, the sickly nature that Feng Langshi is portraying, as well as his strained relationship with his brother, the third prince, is another factor why the emperor keeps him at arm's length. The Empress Bai Li, played by Carmen Li, is much like both her own son, the third prince, and, funnily enough, her stepson, the second prince, in her cunningness and unyielding will to kill anyone on the path to make her son, the second prince, an emperor. From the first scene, the leads have incredible chemistry together, which was surprising at first. Zhao Lusi does tend to have a chemistry with just about any co-star she is in a drama with, but it seems to have worked even more so in this drama, as each scene of the leads being together left us wanting more. Adding upon that, the scenes of them slowly falling for each other are quite natural in execution, as they can be both awkward and quick at the realization that there is a palpable romantic tension towards each other. Like the scene in episode 9 where Feng Shiyun is unable to let Feng Langshi go. And during the silently charged moment where everyone is waiting for what she will say, she makes up the reason on the spot. It seems so natural, which makes it more enjoyable to watch. On the other hand, the same can be said for Feng Langshi, who in the same scene gives us a few more moments of waiting because he is clearly unwilling to part with the object that reminds him of Feng Shiyun. It's perhaps yet unknown to him how much he likes her, but for us, as the viewers, it was apparent early on that he was carrying the torch for her probably before the plot even started. World building, aka the ever-present pitfall Chinese dramas start caving into halfway through the plot, is so far rather good in this drama. Despite the initial premise of the story being a bit too standard in the whole, everyone is looking for this object to become the ruler, the scriptwriters took the job and expanded upon the first layer of the story by adding much needed nuance and flavour when it comes to the characters, underlying plot lines, and connection between characters other than our main leads. It is impressive because the drama was originally marketed as a comedic romance story, but despite its trailer showing only the connection between the main couple, the drama deals with a lot more. With plentiful mystery and outsmarting of each opposing side, as well as figures working from the shadows and heavy emphasis on martial arts in scenes, the drama is anything but just a romance story, for which we are grateful because the emphasis on romance only would make the drama cumbersome to watch. Whereas in plenty of older dramas, Yang Yang tends to showcase somewhat wooden and robotic acting. This time, due to his character being much more moody and crafty, he ends up showing a lot of emotions. Whether he is acting alongside Zhao Lusi in the scenes or the other supporting cast. However, it is exactly in the scenes with Feng Shiyun that he shows more of a down-to-earth appearance, as she seems to have made him more approachable to the average viewer. The martial arts scenes are superb. Whether the characters performing them are the two main leads or the supporting cast, and they go a level beyond sword fighting as neither of the leads are sword users. Instead, Feng Shiyun uses the sleeves of her robe, and Feng Lanxi uses his fan. Though in later scenes they are shown to be capable to use swords, but in Feng Shiyun's own words, she is a peacemaker until the very last moment when someone triggers her enough to go for the kill, hence the sword. There is an actual fulfilling bromance between the male lead and his older brother, which is astonishing to see in a drama that has court fighting over the crown prince position. It's well executed, and the struggle that both brothers go through while still holding family values over is beautiful to watch. Besides showcasing the nuances of familial bonds, in the bromance, the drama does a great job in the overall portrayal of personal and familial emotions across the character board. It's finely tuned in each scene, whether it comes to imperial families or makeshift families such as the cultivating sex, or maybe in Feng Shiyun's treatment of the boy she rescues from being killed off. Regardless of the character's motives and goals, the willingness to not reach them by any means and to protect and consider the people close to them in the process, shown often as a serious struggle they ponder over a few episodes sometimes, is a fine touch on top of everything else that makes this drama a joy to watch. The story needs to give us more of its origins because so far we have only seen the effects of things that have already unravelled, and connections that we know no heads or tails to, as characters are connected to each other but we have no reasoning as to why that is going on. Hopefully in the upcoming episodes we gain more glimpses into the backstory to patch up the main threads of happenings. In the first few episodes there are dubious choices when it comes to timeline setup as well as scene editing. We see the supposed first meeting of the leads where we are practically rushed through the next few scenes as their relationship has its ups and downs, and then we are brought forward into the present time. The fact that there was a time passage, several in fact, becomes apparent only later on, which might leave you confused at the whirlwind of visual information that the production decided to squish into a small time frame. However, after the initial info dump, the pacing becomes stable and the story is easier to follow. There are a lot of flies around the main couple, and by a lot, I mean a lot. As there is at least 3 supporting love interests per each of the main leads, which we understand because they are both quite the accomplishing young individuals, but still it doesn't beget to question how skewed some plot events will be down the line if any of these individuals push for much more than they can chew. Namely, there is a strong female supporting character that is so far likeable, but she is adamant in making the male lead marry her despite him clearly stating no. If this obsession continues in the later episodes, it will be apprehensive to watch, because at this point it feels like the geometrical shape we are staring at due to the number of admirers of both leads is just growing bigger. And this wasn't tagged as a harem reverse harem drama, so we hope they keep the fascination to the minimum admiration at most. Character introductions, which are plentiful to count, also feel unnecessary at some points because as soon as we meet someone, they happen to be dead in the next episode. Oftentimes it's not one character but their whole families and clans, which is arguably kind of funny too. We could do with less dramatics over building up the hype about a character before they're dead in a minute and then never mentioned again. The show has changed directors halfway, which was a worrying piece of information to digest. So we hope that the overall direction of the plot and quality doesn't change due to it. The opening song, Wu Shuang, sung by Liu Yuning, is an upbeat song that perfectly captures the essence of the story without giving us too many shots of the scenes and heading off into the spoiler territory like many of its counterparts. The way it's composed is also telling of the drama's nature, as not being a pure romance drama, but a full-fledged wuxia experience with the romance story as its side dish. Wind Breath, sung by both Hu Yanbin and Yi Xuanqing, is a soft ballad experience that could surely find its way onto your chill playlist, due to it being very soothing and relaxing to listen to. There is a cliff scene that didn't result in someone dying or cultivating for 5 years and then becoming the strongest character in the world. It has a cliché scene where someone is saved though. The world has few gentries who are overly accomplished young men, and the male lead himself, due to having 2 different identities, occupies 2 of the titles. The female lead is mainly seen to prefer simple combat outfits, and in the situations where she does wear more feminine clothing, she quickly protests about it because she finds them unnecessary. The male lead is more flamboyant when it comes to his fashion, though we much preferred the laid-back and playful Feng Langxi to his calm and stern prince persona. Yang Yang could do with more of these roles in the future. The female lead is not the type of strong that is only strong in words, but a well-written, strong character that is straightforward in everything she does. She eats a lot, fights a lot, and keeps her principles. It shows that you don't need much when it comes to the characterization of a character if you simply exclude the gender as a determinator and instead focus on them as a person. Special mention to the 2 cute birds that the main couple adopts in a rather awkward scene, but nevertheless important because they become yet another connection the 2 have to each other. Considering everything that I've talked about so far, the drama's 4.5-star rating can be improved if the production keeps more attention to the editing of the scenes and story flow in the later episodes, as some production choices are a bit questionable upon closer inspection, as well as the order of which some of the scenes appear, which has made the timeline of events awkward at times. Anyways, the drama has abundant background characters, intertwined stories, and rich world building that surrounds the main romance story with its gripping chemistry between the leads, which will surely keep your attention high throughout watching the drama. It is also important that the fine balance between the overall world building and romance aspect of the story is not disrupted and keeps to the current ratio, because currently it's finely adjusted. If you are interested in dramas like Who Rules the World, I have a few recommendations for you, ranging from straight romance stories to BL. The first one is the overly popular drama Sword Snow Stride, as well as the Autumn Ballad, which both premiered this year. When it comes to similarities in plot, I recommend the 2021 BL drama Word of Honor or the 2019 BL drama The Untamed. From older dramas, I recommend the 2017 drama Princess Agents, a drama with a similarly strong female lead and male lead, with their romance being just one tiny part of a big story. If you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, check out my Ko-Fi page by clicking the link in the description down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon if you want to get notified when I upload new drama reviews in the future. If you want to watch more videos like this, click on one of the videos on the screen right now. That's all I have for you today. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you in the next video.